This is JANESSA here from Arm Hug, and I have a really special guest today. I can't wait for you guys to meet her. This is Attilah Overton. She has been a phlebotomist for 14 years, certified for 10. So she started her company back in March of 2021 due to COVID, and now she's got an office in Maryland and soon will be expanding. So I'm so glad that JANESSA BLACKWOOD connected us.
Yeah.
She is amazing, an incredible mentor of yours, I know. But we want to hear a little bit more about you and how you started your business. What was that? What what was that moment, yeah, that you had
So,
where you said, I need to do
um,
this?
so Janessa and I, we both working at LabCorp at one time. I'm still there currently, and I noticed that the waiting rooms were empty, and this is like back in February, and I kept saying, "Man, we just gonna sit here and do nothing all day long," and then she says, "Well, I do mobile," and so I'm like, "Mobile? How do you do that?" Because I wanted to do it for so long, and then she gave me the whole rundown how to get started, and so back in March, that's when I decided to go ahead and get my feet wet with the business. And she actually gave me my first patient, which was kind of amazing. So after I saw, how easy it was, I was like, wow, this is so simple. And then it just grew from there. And then I decided to go ahead and get certified as an instructor because, I said, well, this, it has so many facets to it. And so many people want to learn phlebotomy or get into the medical field and they just don't know where to start. And so, yeah, that's basically, what I did.
What was one of the hardest things you think that you had to learn?
Mm, being patient with myself and not trying to keep in mind that, nothing's going to happen overnight and just trying to become more of a perfectionist, keeping with the patient first philosophy. I always start there because we want all patients to have a good experience. Nobody loves to get blood work done. So if I can make the experience pleasant and get them on that first try, that's like my main goal, and to be better every day and with every patient I encounter. So
And
that's basically.
where can the patients find you now?
I am in Laurel, Maryland, and I will soon be in Alexandria, Virginia. So 14502 Greenview Drive in Laurel, Maryland. And I travel throughout Maryland, DC, and Virginia for mobile lab services.
Got it. Okay. So like I mentioned before, like I will definitely put that information down below so that people can definitely find you and see if like you might be a great fit for them for your services. And then I think
Thank
one
you.
of the burning questions that a lot of people that are starting their business is basically like, where do I start? What are the 5 things I should have? Or, should I be financially successful first to start my business? Because I know you mentioned something like that.
Absolutely not. Financial success comes way later. Um, for me, I just started with business cards and flyers. And when I tell you my best advice is before you start making those marketing materials, make sure you have everything exactly how you want it before you order anything. I have changed my business card like 10 times. And I tell you, it was like the first thing was, okay, I have my email. I started making a website, but it wasn't totally together like I wanted it to be. And then here comes my mentor and says, well, do you have a fax set up? And I'm like, oh, shoot, no. So I forgot that. So then I had to go back, repeat making my cards, reordering. And then it was like, there was something else. I forgot to put my website on it. Then I changed my email and then the design wasn't right. And then it was just like, just make sure you have everything together because I wasted a lot of money trying to get things how I wanted. And just basically once you get that part together, then just start putting your name out there, visiting doctors' offices, nursing homes, even like for me, if you work full time, like I still work for LabCorp, that one patient that loves your stick, this is, oh, I didn't even feel that. That's your opportunity to market yourself, and just let them know, if you can't come to us, I will definitely travel to you. So that's basically all that I've done, and it's been really helpful. And I've even gotten some doctors that have accounts with us to send me patients. So that's been awesome.
Wow. So they even refer you their patients.
It's definitely word of mouth. Like I just got a new doctor that I've drawn his patients, but like I think he was referred to me from another provider. So yeah, it's been really cool. Word of mouth is definitely the main marketing tool. So
Great. And so did you buy your own supplies or did you use your own car? Like how much of this
mhm,
is your
all that.
bootstrap? Yeah. Okay. Right.
Supplies, the cheapest place I've seen would be oh gosh, what is the name of it? I just had it on the tip of my tongue.
I know there's so many.
Oh my gosh. Well, I can tell you I do have accounts with LabCorp and Quest through my business. Um, the way to get that is with a provider that's willing to allow you to use their credential to actually get a LabCorp account. And so with that, we're able to order supplies like that. Palmolab.com is the cheapest place to go for everything phlebotomy related, your tubes, your specimen bags, your needles, just anything you possibly could need. And of course, I use my own vehicle. You definitely want to invest in a centrifuge. Amazon is a good place. I bought my first one from there and it was about $700, but it's a really good investment. I do recommend the horizontal spinning machine and not the fixed angle. Some labs just prefer the horizontal over the fixed angle. But with, fixed angle, you might get one for $60. The horizontal is, of course, more expensive, but it gets the job done. So, and I've had both, and they both work fine. Whatever is best for you and your budget.
Yeah. And so do you go like how many times a day do you go to that same patient or do you spend most of your time trying to find new patients?
I actually spend a lot of my time trying to find new patients. I do get repeats regularly, a few, especially I have a couple contracts with providers that do travel to nursing homes. And so I get those patients regularly, as well as a few of my, patients that have come to me directly. And so couple times, maybe I may see the same patient maybe every 3 months. Like if they have something going on that has to be, monitored or followed by the provider, then I'll see them more often. Some patients I see once a year, and that's fine. And then also have an account with Alta Labs, and so I'll get those patients that want to order their own test, and then they'll call me because I do have a stand-in PSC where they can also come here and get drawn as well. So
Wow. So yeah, I mean, it sounds like it's really flexible,
yeah, it's really cool.
flexible for the patient. So what about you? Like, do you get time off? Do you have time when you can?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, I mean, it's great. It's great for the patients, but I'm worried about you now.
Oh my gosh, that is funny. I'm actually going to take my first vacation in February around my birthday. I have never done that. And I've been with LabCorp. This is my 6th year. I have never taken a vacation. And I draw a large volume when I work at LabCorp. I'm drawing like 60 to 80 patients before lunch by myself.
Yeah.
And so when I and I get those moments where I'm comparing what I charge mobilely to what I'm doing at work, and it's just like, oh my gosh, I have to do something. So that part kind of drives me nuts. But I mean, at the end of the day, I love what I do, and so it rarely feels like work.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, I mean, that's great that you're taking a vacation. That's good to hear. I mean, I think that that's definitely
It's
necessary.
I lose my mind if I don't.
Yeah, no, you definitely have to do that. So, I guess talking about patients, like demographics, are you getting a lot of people who are senior or who are like the younger population? I'm just curious, like what are you seeing out there?
Most of my patients are like I get some younger patients, but most of my patients are elderly. I have very few pediatric patients, but I do get them, and I'm pretty good with the little ones. So, and I'll get referrals from that as well. But most of my patients are elderly, like maybe 60s and up, and then some are, in between. It just depends. But yeah, most of them are older. The ones that just can't get out for whatever reason.
Right. Or they just don't want to drive to the
Right,
lab and wait.
everybody's still afraid of Big Brother COVID. So yeah.
Okay.
And
That makes
where
sense.
would you feel more comfortable, at home or in the lab around people? Like, so I try to keep that in mind as well.
And so kind of pivoting a little bit to, or back to how you started. So
Mhm.
besides having Janessa's guidance, which is already incredibly helpful, did you
Very.
ever have, yeah, I know. Did you ever have like a moment where you're kind of thinking through everything and maybe like fear sits in and you're like, how do I get past this? Where it's like I'm gonna do this and you actually start doing it because a lot of people just talk about it for the longest time
Right.
and
I'm
they
the total opposite. And what's funny, and Janessa always tells me about that. She says, you are the only one, and maybe a couple other people I know of that have really like acted on your business. Like some people, they've gotten their tax IDs, they've gotten their LLCs together, but they haven't actually touched the patient yet. And I'm one of those people that tend to jump in head first. I don't care what it is that I'm doing. If I decide I'm going to go and order supplies, I may just go overboard just because. That's just, I mean, that's not necessarily a good thing. But with my business, definitely it was a head first. Just jump in there and just get your feet wet and get your hands on some patients. So
right. How did you deal with the rejections? So how some patients
it's
may
so
be like,
funny. I haven't had any.
what? Look at you.
I have not. It's so weird. And because I've waited for that. And see, I'm not one of those people that take rejection well. And so I kind of like, I kind of take time and kind of sit back before I may approach someone with a contract or a proposal. But then I kind of get over it really fast because this is my livelihood. This is how I take care of my family. And so once you put it in that perspective, you kind of get over that part. It's just like your everyday thing. You just got to do it.
Yeah, that's great advice. And so for someone who's just starting phlebotomy,
Mhm.
like they're about to just start their training, do
Right.
you like what do you recommend that they should try if they're starting phlebotomy? Like should they get some practice at a hospital or clinic? Should they,
Definitely.
you know, find a
I would
mentor?
yeah, there most of your experience is going to come from on the job, right? When you're in a classroom with other students, and we have waivers that we sign, just like I signed when I was in school at Fortis, we had to actually stick each other. And so what I did was I looked for who didn't come to class because if you didn't come to class, you weren't going to be my partner. Because sticking a human arm is very different from a simulated arm. It's nothing like it. And so having said that, we can only stick each other twice in each arm. That's like the max that we're allowed to do. And so for any student, like they just graduated, they're fresh, try a quest or a lab core because that is where, or even a hospital, that is where you're going to get that experience. Like it's going to really, the more you do it, the better you'll get at it. Like when I first started, I was afraid of heel sticks because we didn't learn that. We learned how to do it book wise, but we never touched an infant heel. So I never did that before. So at LabCorp, that's where I got a lot of that experience from. And what I started to do, instead of shying away from it, every infant that came in, I said, okay, I want this one because I need to learn. You got to do it. And so you never know who your patient is going to be. And so accept those challenges. And the more you do it, the better you'll get, the more comfortable you'll be with it. And that's going to make you do a good job.
Wow, that's great advice. And so last question.
Mhm.
So what will we be seeing from you? So what's next? Where are you going to be in 5 years?
in 5 years, I would like to have a ginormous patient service center and actually start hiring my students to take on some of these mobile draws so that I can stay stationary as much as I probably won't. I'll still be out there poking people and beating up arms. Not too bad though, I promise. But like, yeah, I love putting my hands on the patient. So hopefully much bigger expansion and also, just helping others get started. That's really, what I want to do.
Yeah. And are you helping like other people start mobile phlebotomy businesses too, or just mostly
I haven't only because my time is very limited. In addition to this, I'm a mother of 8. And so, yeah, and so I am super busy. After work, I try to, do my patients. If I have any after work or weekends, I try to get that done so that I can take care of my first business, which is my family. And so, yeah, not a whole lot of time extra to mentor, but I do in the foreseeable future see that I will be mentoring more. I did actually, no, I'll take that back. I did do one. And it's actually a phlebotomist I met in Virginia. And she actually started her business like the actual first day that we talked. And I gave her, the tips that I had that was given to me. And she actually got a contract with one of the nursing homes near her lab. So that was pretty awesome.
Amazing.
To see that she did it as quickly as I did it. So that was cool. But yeah, I would love to do more.
That's awesome.
And even maybe one day with this school, start maybe some scholarships where I can get at least one senior every 6 months and just pay the tuition for them to get certified if that's something they'd be interested in, as a way of just giving back to the community. So
wow.
that's definitely something in my plans. So I'm working on that.
That's amazing. So, I mean, the first step is to say it out loud. So
absolutely, you gotta put it out there
so that the universe can give you that. That's a really incredible thing to do, is to give it back, after you have it, give it to somebody else. So I don't want to take up too much of your time. I know how busy you are. And that concludes our interview today, but thank you so much.
Thank you for the time, and I didn't even know you were watching me.
Yes, everybody, I'm rooting for you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
So I'm gonna go ahead and let you go, but it's been a pleasure getting to know you today, and I can't wait to see what other people are gonna think. Right.
All right. Thank you so much.
Hi, everyone. My name is JANESSA. I'm CEO of ArmHug, and I'm here with JANESSA Blackwood. So I'm so excited to introduce this really awesome connection I made on Facebook. And she's been such an incredible resource for people who are trying to start a mobile phlebotomy business. So if this is something you're interested in, tune in with us for the next few minutes, and we're going to talk a little bit more about how she's got started. So JANESSA, tell me, how did you get started? Like, where did this big dream come from?
It came from many, many moons ago. Like I said, I'm a whole senior citizen girl. The original idea was for me to start a plasma center, or have my own plasma center. But after reviewing a few of the SOPs, and then plus I did work at one, and I'm like, yo, this is a big money maker, and meeting with the CEOs and pretty much the owners and investors of the business. After reviewing the SOP at 2 different companies, the one I worked at and another one, and even calling around doing my research, I realized how heavy regulated it was. There was no way. I would probably still be working on it at the very ground zero. So that was the original intent with InVision Care. And the name originally was just InVision Care before it became InVision Care Medical.
Right, I saw that. So you're InVision Care Medical University. Is that the Instagram handle?
It's 2. It's one InVision Care Medical, in which is the mobile phlebotomy part, and then the university is obviously the school.
Got it. And so did you ask someone for help, or did you feel like you just started writing down, these are the things that I wish to have, like that financial freedom, that to start my own business? Like,
So my mentor that I accidentally ran into, I ran into, she kind of gave me some insight on what she was doing. She really wasn't like, I don't know how to say this. I can call her, ask her questions. But the thing with me, I'm the type to try some, I'm okay with failing. I'm okay with rejection. I'm okay with the word no. And a lot of the few people that I do mentor, that's their biggest thing. They don't want to hear the word no, but you got to get comfortable with that. But the young lady at the time that mentored me, she just told me to go out there and do it. If I had questions, I was able to, she was able to answer it, but at the same time, she didn't hold my hand. I can tell you that. She didn't give me like any other ideas or any other, oh, you should try this, you should try that. It was not, it was just pretty much, hey, you think I can drop this off at Quest with no issues? Hey, how do I go about accepting insurance or stuff? It was literally just,
doing.
yeah, basic. But
That's
for me,
amazing.
I have an inner hustler, so I'm a dude. I'm gonna try stuff. So, and it's okay to make mistakes. We all see my mistakes, but
Great.
you just gotta be okay with those rejections. Like, it's okay. I've been rejected so many times. Those rejections are now reaching back out to me.
Wow. Yep.
That's what people are not. They're like,
They're
oh, they
watching.
yeah, and they're looking for overnight success. No, 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 no. Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Right. So people are watching you. So it's like one door closes, another one opens. That door might open again later.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. Yep.
And so do you try to keep in touch with all of your like patients, clients? Like how do you, what's the best way
Absolutely.
that you would try to follow up?
So I try to send out to the ones that, okay, so my very first patient, I tried to send her a happy birthday card. And for most of them, like
Personal.
I remember her. And what's crazy is I would never like thoroughly tell the story. I made a mistake that day. That's how nervous I was. And keep in mind, I've been in the field for 13 to 14 years. So I made a mistake and the lab called her and told her what it was. And I'm like, okay, I'll be back. And she was, just as pleasant, but yet, you know what really motivated that she still tipped me, although I made the mistake. So she still tipped me. So from there, I'm like, okay, it's good people out here in the world. And I still service in this particular area. So what I do is I send out little happy birthday cards, but of course you got to be mindful of those who may be a little bit, with their religious. Um, I will still send out friendly emails. You could get an automatic system that will send them, hey, if you need your blood drawn, don't forget to reach out to InVision Care type of thing. And that's pretty much how I do it. Now with Big Brother COVID, it opened up the floodgates. So of course, more people, to be honest, my business actually, it's coming from word of mouth, not from no Google, not from no website, none of that. And I just recently completed my website. And you can only imagine.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And I did it by myself. Thank you. So I'm like, it wasn't my website, it wasn't even my business card. My very first business card was all jacked up. It didn't even have the right stuff on there, but people still contacted me. But how I keep in contact with my patients is just really, it's just simply sending them a card in the automatic email saying, hey, don't forget me, you don't got to go in that lab core, type of thing. But that's how I pretty much keep up with everybody.
How long have you been in business?
For 4 years.
Yeah, wow. 4 years, look at you.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
That's amazing. I think some of the like most common questions come with like mobile phlebotomy, besides getting started, is how do you keep the momentum? How do I keep going? Like, even if sometimes I feel stuck or maybe it's a bad day, like what pushes you? What do you think drives you to keep going now that you've been doing this for 4 years? Like, what's the goal?
But again, I have that natural inner hustler in me. So I'm very I'm a creative person. So I like to try, like I said, I like to dip and dab in some things. So what keeps me motivated, honestly, I have no choice because now I'm 100% self-employed. Let's keep that in mind. So I cannot stop. If I stop, then there's no money to be made. I can't pay my bills. So for those who are, starting off, and you want to treat your business as a part-time job. So without that extra money, same thing goes the same way. So it's for me, I have no choice. I have to think of it like that. I have no choice. And I will hope others that want to be, solo dolo. I want to be a boss because I know we're in the world of everyone's getting an LLC for anything, which is okay. You can't afford to give up. And if you do, just keep in mind you're still going to be with that nagging boss that's going to be like, hey, you didn't draw this or you didn't do this right. You don't want that. You don't have time for that. But yeah, that's the only thing I think of. And that's my honest answer is that I really have no choice.
Okay. Yeah. And I think that that's exactly probably what they need to hear. Like if they're not ready to do it, it's not.
Yeah, and it's 24/7. Keep that in mind. People think, oh, you're well established. No. If I was, you have to have the right support system. Like keep in mind, I have kids. I am married, but I still also have to contribute to my household. And I still, to this day, keep 4 years haven't even paid myself. Any money I make goes back into my business. So in order for me to keep things flowing and keeping things afloat, you have to consistently promote yourself, be ready to sell yourself. That's number one. You can't be, oh, I don't want to give this person my car. They don't look right. They don't look like they'll accept it. Or they're going to be okay with them throwing it in the trash. You got to be okay with that. You did your part for the day. Oh, I reached out to this company and they didn't say anything. Like I said, this company I reached out years ago are just now reaching back out to me. Because there may be something you may need to work on. And you definitely going to need a friend, a partner, a mentor, somebody in this game with you. After what I experienced, you're going to need someone solid to keep pushing you. So yeah, that you just got to depend. You have to push your business as if your life depended on it.
That's amazing. Yeah. And so you mentioned a little bit about some of the students that you're now like talking with to teach a little bit of phlebotomy. What advice do you have for people who are just starting to learn about phlebotomy?
So we talk about all the different areas in the medical field. For the most part, my students are either trying to be nurses, and I let them know, like, hey, this is where you want to start, because a lot of nurses in the field now don't even know how to draw blood. So you want to build that skill. And don't just stop at being a bedside nurse. You can travel, you can start your own business, you can do whatever. Like, don't just settle because you're contracted with a hospital. Don't just settle, oh no, I'm gonna be on the oncology floor for 2 years. No, there's so much more you can do as a nurse. As the same thing for a doctor and same thing as a phlebotomist. And then I explained to them, I don't have no sort of degree. I have my credentials. All of them are very active and I keep them up to date. I started off as a whole CNA, and keep this in my, like, they're like, oh, you never, no, I always went to a trade school. And a lot of people are like shaking up like, oh, okay. Cause they're thinking they got to go to school for 10, 20 years. And you're going to be in debt. Like, no. I said, I started off as a certified nursing assistant, and I'm very proud of that. Was it fun? No, but it wasn't fun. It wasn't fun, but I definitely learned a whole lot. So I always say, look at the different areas. Once you get into like a hospital or whatever, get in, just look around, because I like to see what's going on around me and what I can do. And it's something like that's the thing. It's hard to talk to me, girl, because I feel like I could do anything, to be very honest.
Yep, that's the attitude you need to have if you want to do your own business.
Yeah. But I try to motivate my students to don't just stop as a phlebotomist, and those who want to go for nursing, don't just stop there. There's different areas. Some may be aware of it, there's things as a nurse that I brought up that those future nurses they weren't aware of. And don't just focus so much on how much money you can make, because by the time you make that money that you want to, you'll be burnt out. So those things I try to keep people to focus on a little bit.
That's awesome. Okay, so last question. I
Mhm.
know it's so exciting. I want to keep hearing all the stories because you sound like you have a lot of stories.
Yes.
But I guess, like, what's one experience that you feel changed the way you thought about yourself and your business? So, like, for instance, people always say, where do you see yourself in 5 to 10 years?
Mhm.
So where would we see you in 5 to 10 years?
Honestly, that is crazy because I just wrote this down.
What?
And I'm serious. And I'm
Oh,
kind of
man.
to share because it's guys, you get to hear this first, girl. So I know I won't be in the same spot. Hopefully things will change within a year, but it's a lot of work. But I do see, I'm gonna say what I see. And I wrote this down. I do see me on a bigger platform where I am definitely like it's gonna be a real true network of other phlebotomists in their business. Like that I see, like that is more my lane. I do love helping people, and it doesn't have to be about a patient. Like it's how we going to get to the next level together. It's not I can if I could give out free information all day I could, but I see in 5 years, but I'm hoping sooner than later. But I know I won't be in this same office space. I know I probably won't even be in this area, but it will be a nationwide thing. I do see that.
Yeah. And I definitely want to manifest all that for you. I think
I got my candles lit. Yeah.
that's amazing. I mean, I think that what you're already doing has impacted a lot of people. So I'll definitely like post on the bottom of the video a lot of your social so that people can connect with you and get in touch if they're interested in your services, and then where patients can find you. Because I know people are always trying to figure out, where do I find one near my area, or how do I find one at all? Like, where do you get started on this? So I don't know, I just want to thank you so much for taking time today. I know you're super busy and you've got so much to do, but I really appreciate your time.
Thank you. I appreciate this.
Yeah, best of luck with your business. And I'm going to be watching you too. I'm going to be rooting for you.
Yes, and girl, I need some more kids.
Oh, you're awesome. All right, well, thank you. All right, hello everybody. Welcome back to Arm Hug YouTube channel. And I'm here with two lovely guests. If you guys have seen a lot of our episodes, we're bringing back guests that have already been on and have answered some of your questions and are going to start answering some of the YouTube questions that you guys have been putting out these past few months. I mean, it's grown so much. So first is JANESSA Blackwood from InVision Care Medical. And the second guest is Attilah Overton from A&N Medical Phlebotomy Services. So let's get started. So our first question here from Nikki: how do you bill and how do you solicit a provider in order to get your account with Quest and LabCorp? And how much do you charge your patients? I think
that was one of my questions, but so as far as the billing goes, we use direct cash sale. We send the invoice to the patient. We don't use well, I can only speak for me. I don't use insurance for billing because they take forever to pay and they don't like to cover mobile services up front. And so I tell my patients, which 90% of the time, if they submit the invoice to their insurance provider, then they will get reimbursed for the services. So they don't mind paying either way. As far as soliciting the providers, I would say, just try to build relationships with providers so that, you feel comfortable asking that question. A lot of providers, their NPI numbers are attached to their practices. And so with their malpractice insurance, it doesn't always cover anything other than their place of business. So if they say no, that's primarily the reason why. They can either tell you yes or no. So I would say, you know, build a relationship if you know any doctors, and just put that question out there. Either they're going to say yes or they're going to say no.
To piggyback off of that, as far as billing goes, I personally don't bill. A company did try to train me into billing, and as I looked up the codes, it's literally, depending on how much you plan on charging anyway, you're going to get $3 and some change out of that, because you're not a lab, you're not a provider that is writing these orders. So you're just providing a service. And that's something I explain time and time again to any patient, along with the providers as well. I let them know up front. And a lot of the providers, they are truly, and they are aware themselves that phlebotomists won't get paid unless you are a lab. So I don't plan on opening up a lab. I never mentioned I was going to do a lab. I don't want to be responsible for the patient's results. So that's the only way you get paid. However, you can take time out of your day in your state to look up all those codes to add up to what you're doing. I personally, I don't have the time to, and I don't think I ever will. Even with my team, I wouldn't even let them sit down and do that. But that's an option if that's what you truly want to do.
Got it. So the two options are you can bill insurance or you can. Like you don't have to.
But you definitely, well, let me add this in. You will need to have an NPI number. You definitely will. You have to have your NPI number. You have to state who it is you are. And if you are fortunate enough to some way, somehow get contracted with a doctor's office, someone that is actually the head of the office, then they can link you to their facility or their practice, and then you can get paid. However, you got to make sure, you have to be aware that it may take years. So it may take a while before you receive a check. So you have to keep that in mind. You have to be very close with the account billing department. It's a domino effect of things that you would have to be mindful of. But those who want their money today, I advise you to let the patient know up front, whatever your rules and regulation, pay me before service or after, or however you want to do it. And let the office know, or send a receipt, because all my patients get a receipt that the service has been provided and have been rendered, and you let the office and the health insurance people deal with that part. But but however, you definitely need an NPI number for that.
And so I guess the follow-up question, it looks like Deborah wrote here, do patients privately pay? Which I think she's talking about this, which is, you know, are they paying out of pocket? And it looks like yes.
They are. Yep, they don't mind paying whatever your fee is, they don't mind.
And especially if they need it, of course.
Yeah, and you will get the question, do you bill to insurance? We get that all the time. However, I do let them know that most insurance companies will not cover most services up front. And so with that being the case, I just let them know that they do get reimbursement from their insurance company once they submit our invoices. And so all of my patients thus far, whether it's Medicare, whether it's a private insurance, they always get their invoices reimbursed from the service. So
let me add, because I hear this nurse practitioner, she's a good friend of mine, in the back of my head saying, yes, insurance will reimburse. No, they won't. But the only way they did, let me tell you why. The only reason
wait a minute, because my patients haven't had any issues.
No, let me tell you, they will reimburse because the doctor or the nurse practitioner have to specify the reason. If that patient is walkie-talkie, of course the insurance is going to reject it. But if that patient happens to be bed bound and the doctor specifies that in the order, in the diagnosis, then that will, you know, that you may get paid from that. So I just heard her voice in my head. They will pay for it. So keep that in mind.
That is true, because in some instances I have got calls from specifically United Healthcare where they have asked me, you know, what was my role in the whole process of, was I the actual lab? Was I just a specimen collector? That was information they would ask me. And once I answered those questions, they were like, okay, no problem. So I guess it depends on the
It's a
company.
case by case.
Yeah, right, exactly. So I have gotten those questions from insurance providers.
And this is how we should treat it when you're thinking about starting, I think, a mobile business, case by case.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're gonna get something different every time. And doing this consistently for so long, it's something different every time. I don't think there is a time, if I'm not speaking to Attilah or anybody else, we don't have a story. So
Right.
whether and it's more than likely it's going to be about the money. So whether we're too high, we're too low, we're too this, why you don't take insurance, why just a little bit, it's always going to be a case by case situation. However your business, however you choose to run your business, that is on you. Stick to it, and it's going to be a try and error. So me doing this 5 to 6 years, it's still a trial and error every day. So just try it out and see if it works. If it works, okay. If it don't, it don't.
Yeah. We have a question from Carla. It says, this is such a blessing to see that some of the videos are not 2 or 3 years ago. I have a question of choice. For some cities or locations, we cannot start a business unless we work under a doctor, which means you don't even have access to step out on your own. Unless you work under the doctor's EIN, our labs will not let you order any products. So disappointed. How should I go approaching this?
Is she talking about ordering tests?
That's what it sounds like.
Because you're not ordering any tests.
I wouldn't even want to order a test, to be honest.
Exactly. Like that's why the physicians get paid the physician dollars. We don't do any of that. So
of course, you mean you have your companies that you can assist the patient in ordering.
Right.
That is a good marketing segue that, I know between Attilah and I, we use like, it may be a college student that say, hey, I need to get, a quantiferin done. I need to get that TB done. And they don't have a physician or they don't have insurance. Then of course you can, even though my nails are a little funky, but you can order it, but let them know the site to go to. And you order, you can go that route, but to just abruptly create your own requisition and just to order a test, no, I never done that because I don't even
think that's legal.
Exactly. So as far as working, what did she mention? Working under, she has to work under a physician or something.
I wonder order products. She says, unless you work under the doctor's EIN, our labs will not let you order any products. I think it's because she has experience working in a CSL plasma pathology lab.
Okay.
And she's like a certified phlebotomist, and she's trying to jump out to get on her own.
Oh, is she talking about supplies, maybe?
Right, maybe that's what I'm thinking.
Well, she could order from Arm Hug. Go to www.
That's right. There you go.
So, I think that people don't get it because the next question is from Symbiot. It says, can you make a video breaking down how independent phlebs receive orders? So I think there's this idea out there where it's like you're getting orders from somewhere, you're working on under someone else, but it's like if you're independent, you can't be working under someone else and be independent. Am I right?
There are people out here that are stating, actually the first person that I thought was a mentor of mine, she actually works for a doctor, but she's stating that she's independent. So but now, long story short, she is utilizing those patients that she herself offered the services, but it's through that doctor. Now that can happen. Me, myself, and even Attilah, we are strictly independent. However, in order for you to receive the orders, you either have to, you're going to have to network. You are going to have to do like a door-to-door, going to patients' homes. Well, not directly, let me not say patients, going to a neighborhood and possibly either you can do a mailing system or just, because I know one time we went to doctor's offices and dropped off our cards and flyers and things like that. And to remind them, hey, this is still a service that we provide. Other than that, I do not work close with a doctor. In particular, it is a doctor that works closely with me. There's a difference. We do not even have a contract in place. I don't work for him, and I let his patients know I don't work for this man. When they ask me, oh, can you do, when they want me to do things out of InVision care, absolutely not. You refer back to him. I do not work for him. I'm here to draw your blood, and that's that. Now, there are phlebotomists that may work closely with a physician under their business. That's fine. Claiming it to be theirs, that's fine. No judgment here, because sometimes you gotta make it, you gotta fake it till you make it. I get it. But I never done that. I never done that. That's a way for you to get orders. But however, physicians, me receiving business is word of mouth, Google, and getting those orders either directly from the doctor's offices. Patients will Google you or look up for a service, or they may just type in lab service. You just happen to be in their area close by.
That's
Once
right.
they see that, you explain to them what it is that you do. And of course, you can't draw the blood without the order. So you should know how to take care of from that. And I know it's going to be a question after that. I know it's going to be a question after that.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, so that's good. You separated that there's two different types of
Yeah.
options.
Mhm.
So I think that that's a good thing. I think the follow-up question is like, from Leah, hi, I've worked phlebotomy jobs just based off experience. In Ohio, you don't need to be certified to work, but to start a mobile phlebotomy business, do you need to be certified to register for an LLC? I'm confused with this. I have over 5 years of verifiable hospital experience. So I think she's trying to say that she doesn't need to be certified. And there's a response here. I do think that when you register for an MPI, they ask for certification.
Right.
So what advice would you give her if she's thinking of starting a business?
I would say definitely get certified, because your patients are going to ask that. I've had patients ask me, are you certified? You know, they want to know this, and it makes them more comfortable with, you know, utilizing your service. As far as the LLC, you don't need it to get an LLC. Anybody can get an LLC. You know, that's just, you just registering your business basically. But as far as, you know, doing the patients, and especially if you want to approach these biomedical companies and physicians' offices, you want to have that in place, as well as your, you know, whatever malpractice insurance you need to get, you know, and every company asks for a specific amount. So I would say, no, that has nothing to do with LLC at all. But definitely get it. I mean, I would, if you're trying to, this is what you're trying to do,
Yeah.
you might as well.
Did you guys start schools? You can plug in your schools here. Go get it. One of these two services they provide, they have school.
Yes.
Get certified. And then another question here from Yemi. Let's see. How do you build private insurance? So I think they're also trying to build Medicaid or Medicare. I don't know if that's even possible. I don't know if people do it out here. Thoughts?
JANESSA.
You must have, based off my training, you definitely need to have an NPI number and send your invoice to, actually ask them where you're going to send, where should you send your invoice? If that's what you want to do, more power to you. But I will tell you, that's all I got. It's more power to you. But you just ask that insurance company where can they send the invoice, and good luck from there. Yeah, good luck.
Got it.
Being a retired mentor.
That's one of the questions.
Put that out there. She gonna stress that. Like, don't call me.
Yeah. And because those questions are so repetitive, and I know the main thing is people are looking for reinsurance to get started.
Right.
The best thing you can do is get started. Every day is trial and error. For me, to this very day, is trial and error. It's down to the people I meet. It's down to the people that I even want to bring on for my stuff. Invite, like, let's trade. I know. Now, who I can shout out is Whitney down in Atlanta. Like, we exchange information. Like, she gives me a broader information, but however, the information she gives me, sometimes I can't implement here because in Maryland. In Atlanta, apparently you can do whatever. You're free to do whatever. And it's like, okay, girl, thanks for the information, but I can't use it, you know?
Right.
But I know with that being said, with all of that being said, the main thing people are, with all those questions, they're overthinking it. And the main thing they're looking for reinsurance to get started. I don't know what's the worst thing that could happen. I mean, I know plenty of worse things that could happen, but don't focus on that if you are experienced. I get people that's been doing this for 20 years and out the blue, they want to start it. Me being a retired mentor, based off your questions, I know why you shouldn't start a business, why you can't be a CEO or entrepreneur, or based off that, I'm like, okay, yeah, I can't mentor you because you're not really ready. I feel like it's not for you, and I could be wrong. So don't think, oh, I got an LLC, I'm a boss, I'm this and that and the third. No, it's a lot of stuff behind the scenes. You can do the job. That's where everybody think, oh, I can draw blood all day. So can I, but the business side of things is completely different. It's a totally different rodeo. And that's where everyone lacks experience and don't think about. You're worried about billing insurance. Go ahead, bill them all day. But don't come back to me, girl, I still ain't get paid. Oh, okay. All right. Did you get an NPI? Oh, or they paid me $2.50. Okay. Did you look up the codes? Like, it's a lot of research. The same thing, same question that's being asked. Yeah, they're on Google, but of course it's not more detailed. But a lot of people, these questions are looking for reinsurance to get started. And I'm here to put that battery in your back to get started. And there has been days where I'm like, I don't even want to do this anymore. I'm just saying. I'm just saying, that's just my truth. Because the more work piles on, and we're not talking patients and students and things like that, but it's more of the ownership work, the own CEO stuff that people think that they just thinking they're just drawing blood. But to each his own. It depends on the structure of your business. However, just start it and see if that's for you. If not, then it's just not.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Janessa just answered the question from Larry.
Okay.
How can I get mentorship on my mobile phlebotomy business?
You are funny, but yes, I'm open to mentorship.
Yeah, you want people to reach out. So I'll put your information below the video so that people can reach out for mentorship.
Sure. Thank you.
Question, you have resources to get set up with laboratories and get contracts. I have a mobile labs business and don't know what to do next. Any advice?
Call Attilah. Call Attilah.
Oh my God.
Absolutely. And I get it. It's really
funny.
No, but it's serious. Because these questions, it's interesting. And I will say, working at an outpatient service center is where I gained a lot of my experience. To even run how I'm running mine. But other than that, I didn't have any of these questions. Interesting enough.
All right. That goes to show you, I think that what Janessa, you're talking about is you have to go and find these answers. Like, nobody's going to have a booklet out there. They might, but you might need to pay for the booklet, right? It's information. You might have to pay for that information. You might have to take a workshop. There might be a class you have to go to, networking.
Yeah.
You have to ask. Yeah. And I think what you were saying, you have a friend out in Atlanta who you could talk to, and like you guys talk about business. Maybe how's it going? That's also good for like regulations. What's changed?
Exactly.
Right.
And so I think that's great. You have to keep doing that and just continue to stay connected, because it's like it affects everybody.
Exactly.
Our next question is from Miss Al. Have you purchased the POC machines, or are you partnered with a laboratory?
No, not me.
Am I partnered? Yes, but I'm not into COVID and all that. So I thought I was. It's booming, but once I hear 3 times don't do it, then it's gonna be a no. So
you mean for the COVID testing?
Yeah.
Have you heard that has not been a good experience, you think?
Bottom line is, I don't want to be responsible for no one's results. And again, here in Maryland, for us, like, I have a clear waiver, but I have to have or which I do have a nurse on, it's not me. So even if you try to be one of those people, oh, well, she doesn't have a clear. Of course, not in the state of Maryland, I have to have a nurse or a nurse practitioner or a doctor or biologist or something on there. So good luck trying to look that up. But yeah, so I don't want to be responsible. I don't want to have nobody else responsible. So I just stay very clear, keep it lab doctor to patient, phlebotomists go in and just send off. That's what I just want to be responsible for, collecting the specimen.
Right.
But I'm glad that you guys are really going in, like you're digging in deep into some of these questions. Like I keep getting questions about needing a license or certification. I think that's happening because people are living in different states. So this question's from GM. If you're in California, you need both a license for phlebotomy and a certificate. I already have my certificate, but until I get my license, I cannot even work. In other states, all you need is a certificate, but in some you need a license. Is that normal?
In California, it's always been like that though. So I don't know too much. I don't want to speak on California, but it's always been like that. However, if I was that person and I'm in California and I need to get an additional credential, I'ma still proceed. That's just me. I'm not telling you to jump out there, but that's just me. I would still proceed, at least promoting my business, because you may run into somebody that has their license. You insure them, put them on your insurance, and then they just work for you in the meantime, in between time, and go from there while you get the license. But California's always been heavy regulated. So
yeah, I agree. And the next question is from Moya. I work for LabCorp in Virginia and I'm looking to start my mobile phlebotomy business. Is there a contact to pick your guest's brain? And I kind of just wanted to add to that. If she's already working in LabCorp, isn't there a way that she could partner with them?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, they're not doing that. They are, trust me, I tried already.
You're their competitor, although they have
Now they have mobile, right?
Yes.
They're doing mobile now, so
and because they are now investors in that particular company, is going to be a little tricky. So yeah, because you're completely you have to keep things business and don't go to work, oh well, I got a business, and then marketing your business on a job as well. So that's where you're going to mess up, because now you're taking their patients, although you may be taking the specimens back, kudos, but they're not going to trust you. Because if it was me as the business owner, I wouldn't trust you coming in here drawing my patient's blood, but you're promoting your business. So you got to look at it on the business aspect of things too. So just little things to keep in mind.
Right. Next question from Misha. First, let me say thank you for this. How can I become an instructor for phlebotomy?
Ooh,
are there certifications to teach?
You can contact either JANESSA or myself.
Oh, nice. Okay. To learn more about becoming an instructor.
Yes. Absolutely.
Is there like a separate certification they need for that, you guys think? Or does that depend on location too?
That may depend on accreditation companies. Because I know I've went to 2 different places, one that cost me an arm and a leg to actually stand before a board to go over everything to get this to get my credential, then go to another accreditation where it's just straight to the point. So it really depends on where you go. So, and also be mindful of the small companies, even like Attilah and I, be mindful of who you contact, because you want to make sure we are accredited and your certificate is coming from X, Y, and Z board. So I know many moons ago, I told all my students that I was once scammed. I didn't know any better. And I was along my other co-workers while trying to get my certificate as a phlebotomist at the time. So, and then I still have the certificate, but as I look up the certificate number in the board, they never even existed. So just little things like that, keep in mind. But I know for me, I went through 2 different accreditations to get the certification. So you will need it. If you plan on opening up a school, but it's beneficial if you plan on, you know, going to work at community colleges or working at workshops or doing your own little workshop or something like that. It looks good. Let me say that.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, thank you guys so much. I think
You're
that was all the questions. Any advice for people who want to start? I think JANESSA, you already talked about it. Like, stop asking the questions, just do it. Sometimes, even to add to that, like I'm thinking of someone in particular, you know, you have to go through a few bad things, and it's like you're gonna get through it, but that's part of the experience. It's not that we want you to go through anything bad. It's just that, like, for instance, I know people who, you know, don't feel comfortable paying themselves enough for starting a business, and like there's so many other things that are going to start happening that you're gonna have to start learning about. So I guess for you guys, you're going to start, or you're already scaling, but you're going to start thinking about other things, right?
Yeah.
Blogs, videos, which I hope you start doing.
Yeah.
Shops, right? There's like online workshops you could do now.
Yeah.
Online school. I don't know.
Yeah.
So what's next for both of you? Let's end it with there.
Well, I'm going to continue teaching and running my mobile business. And I also plan to mentor. So sooner than later. So yeah.
That's exciting.
For as you all know, I'm a retired mentor.
Yeah, this is so funny. You're so
I am retired. I still get these calls, and I'm all about keeping it professional because I may need that person one day, and vice versa. Nothing new coming up in per se, but if you need business credit, now I do business credit. I will assist you on that. But other than that, and also the credit thing is nothing new. I've been doing that. But other than that, nothing. I can't say anything new. Nothing new coming up, but maybe the video thing that's been taunting me, and we shall see. And if I go through with that, y'all will all know. You will see a post like, oh wow, she did something. So yeah.
Just little by little, start little by little.
Yes.
All big things start small.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, guys. Well, thank you guys so much. And I'll be in touch. I'm excited.
Yes, I'm excited too.
Thank you,
And I know it's going to be 1,000 more questions.